right, welcome back. And this, if you're just joining us, this is KUTV Rise Today, and the show you're watching on your screen right now is Biashara Tuesday. We've just had an interesting discussion before we got into the break, and the discussion was about the role of financial literacy in entrepreneurship. And you know, this is something that we said is not just a requirement, it is something that is a necessity, because 38%, actually, we had a guest in studio, Paulette, who said that it's not even 38% as the data shows. More than 80% of businesses closed down within the first year or after the first year of the operation, and this is because of financial illiteracy. So that is something that was very important for us to have. If you missed that, you can go back after what you're going to have right now, which is a newspaper review with the one and only Ojwang Mariam Senior. Your names are so long, I can't
Senior Warrant Officer 1. Hizo nasema ni titles na ziko binguni.
Titles, you know, I'll one day tell people your real name, but not today.
Gani, Vincent Minor, inakuwa kwa M-Pesa, bank checks, all those things.
But see hapa.
See hapa.
Very interesting. It's good to have you in studio this morning.
You look good. You look yellow.
This is actually mustard.
I'm a man. Ugo nje wananikubalia. If I see yellow, I'm a man. So I'm short-sighted too.
Anyway, thank you so much for making time for us this morning, Ojwang. It's so good to have you in studio this morning.
It's always a pleasure.
Yes, and we are going to have very interesting discussions this morning. And this morning, tumeamua this morning tunatetea MSMEs. This morning tunatetea Wakenya wale wadogo kama mimi. Wasiwezi sema na wewe. Okay.
Kwa nini? Hapana. I'm still a youth. 32 years of age. I'm a youth. Living in a country yenye Uncle Moody Awori, former deputy president between 2002 to 2007.
Vice.
Yeah, vice president. By then alikuwa vice president. At one time ali become youth representative. Akapewa kazi na former president Uhuru Kenyatta. Hiyo miaka yake ya 90s. Mimi niko 32. I'm still young.
You're still young. Wewe bado ni kijana barubaru. So very interesting. This day we are beginning with this headline on the Daily Nation that 124 billion wheat imports sink farmers into losses. And they highlight, they're saying local wheat growers have been hung to dry after the government allowed a group of millers to spend at least 124.5 billion shillings to ship in over 3.2 million tons of the same product farmers harvested in plenty. Farmers may be forced to sell their grain at a loss to avoid losing their entire harvest, with senators now probing how and why farms were given the nod to import. And you know, Ojwang, this is I've had these cries since last week, I guess, and it's a time when as a country we are really focusing on increasing our GDP, increasing our sustainability, and that's why we are having empowerment on the agricultural sector. But as this is happening, I don't know how it passed the Senate and everyone, or who approved this, but we're expecting 124 billion wheat imports.
Yeah.
And this is a time when mavuno imekubali uko nini? Uko Rift Valley. Mavuno imekubali. So they have a lot for the country, but now the prices, they have to sell at lower prices. Ndio wasikae na products zao. Or that's the only option they have now. This is not so good for a country when it comes to agricultural sector. So what do you think about this move by the government? It's on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation.
First of all, kuna kitu tumeishi kusema. The only way sisi kama wa Kenya tunaweza jitoa kwa situation ya kuwa controlled na external forces, I mean other countries, ni if we have food security. Everything yenye inatoka huko nje inakuje in terms of kichele, hii pesa ikuje tutumie kukula. Rift Valley, I will include Uasin Gishu County, Nakuru, Laikipia, Nyandarua. Wako na ranches. In fact, kwa na wazungu huko, watu kama Bosnia, kuna watu wanajua Bosnia. Wana farm wheat in our own country. So si ati hatuna wheat ya kutosha. Tuko na ngano. Na hii ngano saizi wakulima wetu sisi wanauza bei ya kutupa. Juu ya importation ya 124 billion. It's crippling our economy. Borrow from countries zenye zimeendelea, civilized countries, first world kama US. From today, Canada wanaongezewa tax up to 35% wakitaka kuleta vitu zao US. It's the same thing tunafaa kufanya. If sisi tunauza, it would be better. Ati tume export wheat ama wheat products worth 124 billion. Ingekuwa easier kwetu. Ingekuwa easier kwa mkulima wetu. Na si ati wanafanya hivi ndo bidhaa zinaundwa na ngano kama unga wa chapati, biscuits, hizo vitu zote.
Macaroni, spaghetti.
Zitashuka bei. Hazishuki bei kwa shelf. Sawa, hazishuki bei kwa shelf. Kuna wakati tulikuwa tunaambiwa Ruiru vitu zinashuka bei. Hazishuki bei kwa shelf because ukiongeza imports na wewe tayari uko na imports, unakuwa na over supply. Na demand haitakuwa catered for. Mark you, some of these people who own these millers companies are not even Kenyans. Wengi ni Wahindi.
That is the sad part.
Wengi ni Wahindi. Angalia Kitui Flour Millers, Joy Millers, Capwell Industries, Alpha Grain, Rafiki Millers, Malindi Flour Millers, Jamii Milling. Kwanza hizi zote ziko na majina ya Kiswahili. Ziko upande wa pwani, ni Waarabu, Wahindi. Yule Mkenya mweusi mwenye kazi yake ni kuvuna ngano kwa wenyewe in the counties we have said, akiumia pia wewe Sylvia utaumia. Akiumia pia hawa tycoons wenye ni wa Kenya wataumia pia. So we're supposed to have policies. Juu kuallow imports kuingia hivi vyote ni shida na policies. Tukuwe na policies zina favor our own as in small, medium enterprises.
And you know, my problem is not even with the imports. The problem is we are importing when we have our own production.
Yeah, so tunakuwa na over supply.
We don't have like a shortage, and that's what makes this even sad. I think that's why the Daily Nation chose to have that as the biggest headline.
I think it's a good headline because comparing it to what the Standard are talking about, I think ya Daily Nation na wheat ku imports iko na more weight.
Yeah.
Kuliko Ruto's double speak, because we are used to President Ruto's
politics.
double speak.
Yes.
So this is not news. That President William Ruto ameingia Roysambu constituency kwa Bishop Edward Mwai akaacha pledge ya 120 million.
Let's not get
to
that first.
Yeah, that's not news. So tukiangalia hadi hii inaguza Mkenya wa kawaida.
And also
mkulima wa kawaida na consumer wa kawaida.
Yeah. So in the Business Daily, that is on page 13, they're saying plight for MSMEs in Kenya's building construction sector. And this is a cry for, they say that the MSME in Kenya in the building and construction industry contribute 4.1% to our GDP. And that is something, because it's not a small figure if you look at it. I think that's why our president was really saying that the affordable housing will create job opportunities in the country and all that because of the 4.1%. But that's not the problem. The problem is, yes, we have had job opportunities in the country. We have plumbers, we have those people working on electricity, we have architects, we have those construction companies, the ones bringing in cement, mbao, our watu wote. We have all of them in board. But now the problem is taxation to those industry. They're now complaining that, yeah, tukatai mumetupea kazi lakini unatutax sana. So there is, Kenya stands to lose if this taxation keeps increasing, because it will filter out those who can't afford it to those who can. And that is, in a one way or another, reducing the job opportunities at the same time. So what do you think of this plight of SMEs in Kenya's building and construction sector?
Medium and small enterprise in the building sector or construction sector wako, lakini si wao. We are talking about companies that require a certification from National Construction Authority, NCA. When your company inataka kupata certification ya NCA na ina deal na mambo ya energy ndo electrical inaingilia, you must have a certification from EPRA. Kufika hapo ni pesa mingi sana. So you will find out that the political class, maybe your governor, maybe your MP, yeye ndiye anafungua a proxy company na anajiita kijana. Akona source of funds za kurun hii company. So first of all, hapo MSME si wao wako, si wao wanasaidika. Tunarudi tunaambiwa that affordable housing ina create jobs. It is doing that, my sister, but not to Kenyans. Unaingia kwa project ya affordable housing, unatafuta kazi ya mjengo, kukua tu fundi, unasikia wanalipwa 400 shillings.
I thought it's 800.
Hiyo ni ya kuambiwa. Ukifika kwa hiyo ni 400. I'm telling you about something that is happening. So wewe una choose, mi badala ya nikaa hapa for 400, unaenda nyumbani. We have a lot of foreigners from Rwanda and Congo. Hao ndo wanakuja, wanaambiwa 400 na hao ndo utapata kwa site. Otherwise, I am challenging you as a journalist. This week uingie huko mashinani, find at least watu 5 pekee wakwambia mimi nimekuwa nikifanya kazi kwa affordable housing, and then ukuje utuambie. Ingia kwa constituency yenye iko karibu sana, hii ya Roysambu. Affordable housing hata ilikwama, but MSME bado wanaumia. Sisi tunaumia, but kuna watu mahali bado wanaendelea kuingiza do. Ulisema kuhusu watu wanapeleka construction materials, bado sio MSME. Inaingia kwa ile deal yenye President Ruto na billionaire, si billionaire, mogul, business mogul Aliko Dangote walisign before 2022 elections. So huyo ndiye analeta simiti. Mambo ya fertilizer bado ni Aliko Dangote analeta. Wewe kama Mkenya mwanataka kufungua kampuni yako MSME, kuna mahali unaingililia? Hauingilili. Hiyo affordable housing bado. Gazeti ya jana imeandika ya kwamba ni mtu mmoja out of 559 wamejiandikisha mambo ya boma yangu na wana save towards that. So hizi nyumba zingine zote tunaambiwa zinajengwa, units ngapi ndo zimeisha ukasikia watu sasa wameingia wamepata nyumba zao, affordable housing zao? We are 2 years in. Every month watu wanakatwa pesa za housing levy. At one particular time in 2023, the government backdated these levies. Wakasema hapana, mahakama imekubali August. Mwaka wa serikali unaanza lini? July. All that money pumped into affordable housing, but we don't have affordable housing zenye watu washachukua zao. We don't have enough data ya watu wanapata hizi kazi wa Kenya, juni ilikuwa ya kuletea wa Kenya kazi. We also don't have a surety of getting these affordable houses. Ulisikia CS akisema what you are doing ni kusaidia gava kujenga, after umesaidia gava kujenga,
It's not a tax.
Umeshika. We are not even willing to buy them because a bed sitter is going for about 2.9 million. Tell me when you will save up 2.9 million for a bed sitter. Unaweka kitanda, unaweka carpet na screen imejaa. 2.9 million imeenda. At a place and you are still grappling with the struggles of this economy. We are still struggling to raise our companies, MSMEs. We have unfavorable competition apart from taxes. Taxes ni a tip of the iceberg. Juu unaitishwa tax, before uanze kuitishwa hiyo tax, the process ya ufike hapo kuitishwa tax ni ngumu sana.
Yeah, interesting. Now, you've mentioned that ukienda kwa construction companies, you'll get that most of these people working there are not Kenyans. And also, I did an observation. You see, when you're driving along, let's just say any route, Northern Bypass, Mombasa Road, anywhere, you'll find our watu wanauza njugu. Do you know that most of these people are not Kenyans?
Wanauza njugu, wanauza kahawa, na tule tumandazi tudogo. Those hawkers are not Kenyan hawkers.
And you wonder how they got into the country, because utasikia wanakuambia kuna mwingine hapa Zimmerman nikiwa nyumbani huwa tunamuita mabenye. He sells kahawa and these donuts. That mabenye can never allow you to send him money.
It's cash.
Yeah, it's cash. And you wonder how they got in this country in the first place. So that's just tells you that in as much as we are saying we don't have jobs and all that, there's also a shortcoming on the government side.
The
in terms
Rwandans,
of
the Congolese, wanaingilia Kenya using the Busia border yenye inatoka Uganda, which is illegal, haijafungwa, no verification is being done. We are having Somali community using the northern border. Wanaingia Kenya. In fact, saizi washapewa leeway by the President Ruto, that you don't have to go through all those verifications for you to get an ID. The other border pale hivyo side ya Ethiopia, our own, the Shukana community, are being massacred. Juzi ulisoma kwa gazeti, 20 of them massacred in one night by militiamen from Ethiopia. We are not safe from external forces. We are not safe from our own government. Na ukiwa safe sana, unaabductiwa.
ukiwa safe sana.
Really? Uko safe sana. Ukisikia mwenye ameabductiwa, at least huyo ameabductiwa na Mkenya. We still have 5 chiefs from Mandera huko juu. We have never known kulienda aje story yao. Walipiga tu kipindi na rais akatoka Ramu, akaingia Mogadashe, akaingia mpaka huko akasema watarudi.
Bado hawajarudi. Sad to say. Now, USAID contract grants cuts in Kenya now hit 108 billion. You remember, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago, the 90-day waiver period is almost halfway. We're almost halfway to it. And the US government was saying that now we are focusing on our people. We will tax people who are bringing in the goods in the country to protect our own. USA money is going to be used for the people of USA. Our taxes will not be misused anymore in corruption. And ikatingiza dunia. And now the grant cuts hit 108 billion shillings. We have a health crisis in the country. Shashi is not working at the moment. Okay, let me not say it's not working.
It's
not efficient. It's not efficient. We have the health sector is really paralyzed. You know, people from other regions don't really feel this withdrawal of grants. But if you're coming from the Lake region, from the Nyanza region, you will really feel it. In Nyanza, there's this group of people called Nyamrerwa. I think it's the health promoters. They've been there since my grandma was one of them. They call them health promoters. Now, health promoters, their work is to, they normally have bags with kits, HIV test kits, malaria test kits. They walk around.
Polio vaccine.
Yes.
Nilifanya hiyo kazi.
And if you're in the community, when you're sick, you first go to Nyamrerwa.
Yeah.
You run to Nyamrerwa. They offer you that service. And they were paid by the United States through USAID and all these non-governmental organizations. And now that it's cut, it is a challenge. You know what happens, why the Lake has highest cases of HIV and AIDS is because this is raw truth. In the Nyanza region, most people depend on fishing as their way to sustain them. So you'd go to the market. We have market days. You'd go to the market, and 80% of what is sold in that market is fish. So you go to the market and ask yourself, who is buying from who?
Juu 80% ni samaki.
Ni samaki. Who is buying from who? And those who are selling other communities like clothes, you know, you unaweza zunguka soko deep inside the Nyanza region ukose kupata waru.
Ukose nguo.
Utakosa waru literally.
Samaki.
Yeah. So these people, that is their life. As a big business person makes it around 3,000, 4,000 in a good day. So when they do these businesses, most people sometimes they lack what to buy food from, and they end up. You see, when this lady saying niliamua kumwangukia daktari, so this happens. They decide kuangukia the fisherman. So you sell yourself for fish. For your family.
That's being selfish.
Yes. That is so huge, and that's why we are having so many cases of HIV/AIDS in the Nyanza region. Another reason is because they call it tero. Like not when we are married and then you die, your brother marries me.
And I inherit.
Yes. That is tero. That is also another contributor to the high cases of HIV/AIDS. So when USAID was in place, it offered training. It offered, I attended some of them because at the age of, ukianza kubalehe, you're taken to Sky Girl and these organizations where they offer training. They give you girls' pads because some girls get into the immoral practices because they lack it. So they offer training. They give girls' pads. They offer, that's the first time we heard of PrEP. Do you know of PrEP?
Pre-exposure.
Yes.
Prophylaxis.
You're trained on that when you're growing up. So this funding went to those areas. Uko ndani. It's not common in urban setup. So when USAID withdraws this, it's not just about, you know, we are looking at it as a loss of job opportunities for those people working, but we are not looking at the bigger picture. The health crisis that is going to be in the region, the young people who are going to leave school because now they lack funding, because it also offered sponsorship to young girls and boys. So we are not looking at the bigger picture. We have a problem with the funding of our education system. So it's going to cripple the health sector. It's going to cripple the education sector. It's also going to cripple the economic sector because it offered also training to young farmers and those people affected on how they can manage their business. So this is not just something small that we should be looking at it as it's just loss of jobs. I don't know how it is like from where you sit.
From where I sit, it's sad, first of all, that US government has decided to cut on this expenditure of giving to other countries through United States Agency for International Development. But whenever US give you money, they don't give you money for you just to benefit. They want something in return. They have their own interests in your country. So when wanakaa chini wana feel like there is no business, ndio wanasema, let's think about America first. It's a good thing to US. Think about America first. What if sisi kama wa Kenya tulikaa chini tuseme Kenya first? Na hiyo ndo ideology tuliuziwa 2022. That we are going to have a Kenya first. Kenya kwanza. I remember then even content creators, when they were doing their comedies mimicking the politicians, especially those running for presidential seats, wakisema, wewe hata ukipewa pesa saizi na uko na Uganda, uko na Tanzania na uko na Kenya, utapeleka wapi pesa? Kila mtu hadi baba anasema Kenya kwanza. So Kenya kwanza ikiingia kwa serikali ilikuwa ifikirie Mkenya kwanza. How are you thinking about Mkenya kwanza when you are allowing 124 billion wheat imports that is coming to sink farmers into losses? Yet, if we empowered our agriculture, if we empowered our education sector, if we empowered our industries, we can have more money so that we stop being selfish, tuache kujiuza ndio tupate fish. So that we can have dignified lives. Normal price ya condom inafai kuwa around 50 bob. Tulizoeshwa condoms za red zinaitwa sure. Zinapeanwa kwa institutions. And that funding, hata kama imeandikwa GOK, comes from US, USAID. Over 20 years now, we have had USAID. And we just use it as a means of kukamua tu. Tuko na KEMRI. Hatujawahi fikiria kuhusu vaccine HIV. Enye ni yetu ama ya Afrika. Hatujawahi fikiria vile ambavyo in 203 tulileta FPE. Na hadi saizi they call it FPE. But it is expensive for you kusomesha mtoto in a public primary school. Pesa zetu tukizitengeneza vizuri, hizo pesa ziweko kwa education. Kwa nini mimi nitaingia Lake Region nijiuze ndo nipate school fee if education was free? Sanitary towels. We are having our own senators, female senators, riding on the plight of girls to get fundings from abroad, including African countries, because the senator I'm talking about is also said to be a girlfriend to former president. Nigerian president. But akifika hapa mashinani, na kwenye yeye anatoka, it's the same situation. It's by design. Hao watu wanataka tuteseke by design. Ndio wao watajirike. Wewe at least wewe ni mzuri, umewahi pata maybe sanitary towels from the USAID or something like that. But ni watu wangapi huko nje unajua wao wamewahi guza pesa za USAID? Wale ambao wanasaidiwa ni wadogo sana. Lakini wale ambao wanakula hawahitaji usaidizi wowote. Usaidizi wa USAID unahitajika mahali wewe umesema. But hizo pesa zikifika Kenya zinaanza na Ministry of Foreign Affairs wakule yake. Kama ni kwa health, Ministry of Health wakule yake. By the time hii pesa inafika kwa community mashinani or grassroots level, wewe kitu unapata ni chanjo, udungo usikie uchungu. Na ukienda sana kama wewe ni dem, at least utapata sanitary towel. The boys get nothing apart from those jobs. To cut your funding juu imekatiwa saizi for 45 days to make around 45 days to make bila. US juu ni a sovereign country. Juu it's a republic on its own. Wakikataa kabisa, does it mean that all Kenyans are condemned to die? We must think beyond this. How do we help ourselves? But itakuwa ngumu sana when
we're not even supporting our own agricultural sector.
Exactly.
Which is quite unfortunate. And the
policy... But tusilie sana. Mimi hata niko in support ya US isimamisha hata kama ni mwaka mzima. Kuna mahali unakaaga hivi, wanasema necessity is the mother of all invention. Tutakaa hivi na tutafigure out. 2027 haiko mbali. If you're not able to do this now, 2027 haiko mbali. To vote na akili. Nilikuwa nataka kusema na kichwa nikakumbuka, that's what we did in 2022. To vote na akili.
And Nguro is telling me right now that the money is there.
Now, money is there. Si tutafika kwa hii story yenye iko kwa standard. Money is there if one person can cough 20 million in a day kwa church. Tukifika hapo hivyo ndakuwa na kuelezea 100 million. Wacha na 20 million. Tuassume ameshapea hiyo kanisa ya Jesus wina 20 million. What could the president do with 100 million in the same constituency?
Instead of kujenga kanisa. Now that is that. I think we should get to that story on Ruto's double speak. And President Ruto's stance on public fundraising has taken a curious turn. Months after banning Harambees for state officers, he now leads multi-million shilling church donation, having recently pledged 120 million to a city church. As criticism mounts, his defiance grows, insisting his contribution are a divine duty. You know, this country is interesting. Let's say, if I was born, okay, apart from the economic side of the country, but if I was to be reborn, I would want to be in Kenya still, because everything is always a joke in this country. You're talking about people dying in hospital before SHA is not working. Someone says, wewe unapiga kelele hapa, ujui chenye inaendelea. When we talk about the funding is not happening right, and people are paying 100,000 for school fees in campus, and this is blocking other people from accessing university education. And we are saying it'll work too, you know.
Give Ruto time. It'll
work too. So you guys relax. And now when we say that you should not do fundraising and all that, it's like the rules in this country are not applicable to the executive, are not applicable to the judiciary, are not applicable to the legislatures. It's only applicable kwa sisi wananchi wa kawaida. If you're not funding the government, the rule that only applies to you. If you're not funding the government, that's where the rule applies to you. And now this, after the Gen Z protest, this was an aftermath of Gen Z protest. When they were saying that you're giving much expectation. At some points, I actually agreed to that, that politicians are given so much expectations, that a salary over 600,000, in every weekend, you're expected to go to funerals, not less than 2. So if you go to every funeral, if you're giving, let's say, 10,000 to every funeral, that is 20,000 shillings per day. That is just donation. And you've not included your transport to that place. So let's say it's around 30,000 shilling per day. The weekend has 2 days, so that is 60,000 shillings in every weekend. In a month, that is 60 by 4. That is 240,000. You've not counted the visitors who come to your home. Mheshimiwa, mtoto wangu amelala njaa, mheshimiwa mtoto wangu hajaenda shule. So in almost month ikisha, someone has spent almost 500,000 as a politician. And they were arguing that this is what drives them to corruption, trying to cope up with life, because the society expects you to give a lot. And also you're expected to live a good life, build a good house for your family and all that. Your children need to go to good schools. Your wife here needs to look like bibi ya mheshimiwa. So they're saying that in a salary over 600,000, trying to keep up with that life is not a reality. And it leads them to corruption. And now the president, to change this, he was saying that they should not. They should not be part of those fundraising and attending those functions, giving out money. And I was like, okay, fine. Maybe that is a mitigation. But now, where does the president's money come from? I understand that he has allowances.
And a lot of businesses.
and a lot of businesses. But would you give 120 million from your business for a church funding?
Mimi. Hata kama kanisa linajengwa na kina vijana.
You won't give out?
I could give them the church. I could give them the church badala ya 20 million. But yenye inashangaza zaidi hapa ni vile President Ruto anajitetea. That whenever we give, we do so to God. I have been trying to find where it is written in the Bible, because I am an ardent reader, that when you give to God, it is returned by the bishops. That was in November 2024. Austerity measures na hawa political class kukua kila time wana flaunt their wealth, their vehicles zetu, kwanza hizo ni zetu, fuel guzzlers. Ndo akasema as a way ya kuensure that kila mtu ana live within their limits ama means, then tunapunguza vitu fulani. A head of state or a father should be a truthful person. You cannot use a lie yenye mimi nikitumia kesho ni crime ama ni sin. Leo umesema kwamba sheria kuna watu waiguzi. They threaten you that sheria ni msumeno na unakata pande mbili. What they have never told you ni that hii sheria yenye ni msumeno ni inakata maskini pande hii na pande hii. Ndio maana anasema inakata pande mbili. But wewe, as long as wewe ni mouthpiece ya government, wewe kazi yako ni kulamba watu visogo and every other part that they would like to be leaked, then wewe hauko hapo hivyo kwa sheria ikuguzi. Jaribu kusema kitu ambacho ni tofauti na chenye serikali inasema. EACC now becomes the gun to be used against you. But in real sense, wao ndo wanafaa kuwe jela. President Ruto anaingia Nairobi City kuenda kwanza, kitu cha kwanza kukwel eti vita ya Nairobi County Government na Stima Plaza. The pettiness yenye iko hapa Nairobi. Wewe unakataa kulipa stima over 3 billion. Mimi nakukatia stima. Wewe unaenda mashinani Kayole, Roysambu, Kibra, wapi kwingine kuna choo mingi. Tatu zilete zote na exhaust. Exhaust inafika ina mwaga hapo kwa.
I heard someone say that alimwaga uchafu yenye inatoa supu.
Yeah. That kind of pettiness. Ndio President Ruto anaingia Roysambu ati kuaddress na ku make sure kuna peace. And then mwenye anasema tuishi kwa limits zetu anapeana kwanza 20 million na anaongeza 100 million kwa one church in Roysambu constituency. Roysambu constituency yenye imejaza mashida hapa chungu nzima. Before appearing for this newspaper review, I asked people wa include vitu zenye 100 million inaweza fanya in our constituency. Na mahali alikuwa Makiu hakukuwa na Roysambu constituency MP. My MCA wakutoka Roysambu constituency sikuwaona hata mmoja. I know them. Sidhani kuna MCA Roysambu mwenye atujuani, including the MP. So 100 million wanaweza upgrade health facilities, more equipment and staff for hospitals like Kahawa Health Center. Kwa hiyo budget ya 100 million. Kwa hiyo bado 100 million water and sanitation wanaweza. Saizi kuna kitu inaitwa re-advertisement of tender. Tendering process ya maji kiwanja KM. Kwa hiyo 100 million waka-inject hapo hivyo. Watu wote wa KM kiwanja wanapata maji Kahawa West na Kamae. Hao wanaumia zaidi. In our constituency Roysambu, President Ruto anasemaga anapenda vijana sana. We do not have ICT hubs. Hubs tunazionea Google Chrome. Sitaki kuambia ni hub gani hiyo. But mashinani hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Kitu kingine tunaweza fanya. We have vocational training college or institution in Roysambu. Inaitwa Kiwanja Polytechnic. Iko just behind Kenyatta University.
Is it functional?
Is it functional? Pesa zinatengagwa za kutengeneza fence pekee. But ukiingia pale hivyo masomo ni less or none. Sijapatana na watu from my community wenye wanasema siku hizi nasukuma ka course fulani hapo voka plumbing kwa ile community vocational training center yetu. But 100 million anaenda anaangusha place moja. No one is appreciating that. We are supposed to ask ourselves, President tunajua kila mahali anapata pesa in terms of government. Biashara tunaweza kuwa tujui. Juu kuna zingine zenye anapiga huko nyuma.
Give us that as we conclude because muda pia umesonga.
Yeah. We need people like Auditor General Nancy Gathongo, who is using Agethongo yenye kila mtu anaelewa. Nancy Gathongo, the Auditor General, anaenshuaga chenye anasema kitu kila mtu anaelewa. Saizi anasema hakuna sia government of Kenya ni ya mtu binafsi, atuambie hii 120 million President Ruto ni wapi anatoa, ndio tupunguze visa za money laundering, na ni pesa zetu, taxes zetu ndo zinatumika kuwa laundered into one church. I've heard the youth say that on Sunday at least wanapeleka sadaka yao Jesus Winner Ministry. Huko ndo nitakuwa church Sunday kuabudu na Mungu, ndo tujue hizi
pesa. And you know, you mentioned Nancy and the social, everyone in social media, not everyone, the people who know about what she's doing in social media, they're saying that we should protect that woman.
She should.
And as that happens, you know, there's Kimani is tabling a motion in Parliament to oust her.
Kimani the Ishungwa?
The one Ishungwa, the one that you know, is tabling a motion in Parliament to oust her. And as that happens also, there is a report by the public service that most people in the public service used fake documents to get their jobs in the public service. So, and it's supposed to be vetted by the Parliament. The same parliamentarians as the one who, most of them also, are there in Parliament after delivering fake documents to give them nomination seats in their political parties. So it is a question of Ruto saying we will deal with corruption, his legislators being the ones who are corrupt, the people fighting corruption being fought in at the same time. So it's a back and forth push. I don't know if we will win this. Our time is really up. I would give you a chance to comment on that, but we need to close. I think we will tackle that in some other time because it's something that is not expiring. Because
10 seconds, niseme kitu 10 seconds.
10 seconds as we close.
Apart from academic credentials to give people job, I think kila mtu anafaa anaambiwa kuje na kioo. So that unaweka kioo kwa ofisi yako. Every time you want to talk about corruption, unaenda hapo kwanza unajiangalia unasema, hiyo ni mimi wa kwanza, acha tu niachane nayo. Amira. To kila mtu anajiangalia kwa Amira.
So they are afraid of talking about corruption because they also part of it. Just like Auditor General says.
Not part of it. Wako
in it. Now this marks the end. We are closing this show on a very high note with so many pressing issues, but that is what we had for you this morning on KUTV Rise Today, Biashara Tuesday. Thank you so much for being part of it, and also remember to vote for KUTV as the best, not KUTV, KUTV Biashara Tuesday, Rise Today as the best show of the year in KUSA Awards. You only need your name and your email address to vote. Don't talk about maneno ya Art and Culture Monday right
vote
now.
Biashara Tuesday leo, kindly. You are going through a lot of pressure.
Yes, thank you so much. I hope to see you again next week, same time, same place, with yours truly, Anyango Sylvia and Ojwang Mario.
Nikawajibu Kenya tuko na disaster, watoto wetu wanazidi kuzikana.